Hey everybody, what is going on? This is Orvie 3 NWO bringing you another Call of Duty gameplay, and today we have some advice with Orvie. I want to encourage you guys to continue sending in questions for next week's video. I'm going to try and do these every Friday, I think. That'll give you the full week to come up with questions and get them to me so that I can kind of sift through them and pick the ones I want to answer. I'm probably going to stick to about 2 to 3 questions, maybe 4 a video. But any more than that, and I feel like I wouldn't be giving them the real attention they deserve. So we're going to start here today. I have 3 really good questions today. Our first one, I believe it was supposed to be private, so I'm going to keep it name off of this one. Not really sure, but that's what I'm going to do right now. The question is, so I've been talking to this girl on Twitter for the past 2 weeks now. She's really cute and funny. The only problem is I haven't told her I like her, and she lives in England. I need advice to try and start talking to her in a serious way. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Okay, that's a very good question. I'm going to start by making a couple of assumptions here. Number one, I'm going to assume that you don't live in England, and that that's the problem. And number two, I'm going to assume you're probably a little younger, maybe 16 or under, probably. If those two are true, then my real advice would be to take a step back for a second and maybe look at just having this girl be a very, very close friend of yours. Someone that you can talk to a lot and so on and so forth. I think, honestly, that will be much more conducive to your happiness in the long run. And the reason being is, it's really nice to have a very close friend that you can talk to, especially when you are younger, that's of the opposite sex, so that you can kind of say, hey, you know, I'm thinking about doing this with this girl, and she can say, no, you're a moron, why would you ever think about doing that? And anyways, that will help quite a bit more than, I believe, than trying to date this girl if she lives in a different country than you. And the reason being, long-distance relationships are incredibly hard for adults, for people that can actually travel and see the other person from time to time. Now, things have been getting easier. Obviously, you have FaceTime and Skype and webcams and text messaging and all that type of stuff, so you can kind of see them a little more, but that's not the same. To give you an idea, one of my best friends was dating a girl. We live in Texas. He was dating a girl from Minnesota, and it was nuts. Anytime they got together and actually did see each other, he would fly her down and things like that. They would end up fighting like crazy because they didn't get to see each other for months and months at a time. It's going to be even harder when you don't get to see the person at all. And it's very, very hard to do a long distance relationship, especially when you're younger, because people, especially when you're younger, people tend to change their mind very quickly, especially if what they are wanting or talking to or dating is not right in front of their face 24/7. So I think it would be much more conducive to happiness if you would make this girl a very good friend of yours. Then you won't have so many problems with the long distance thing, and she can still be just as fun and happy and still help your life out just as much. Remember that when you have friends, the better your friends are, the better you become. The worse your friends are, the worse you become. Or the less you have, the harder it is for you to be happy sometimes. So add as many really cool, really funny people as you can to your friends, as long as they're helpful to you. And if you're wanting the advice you probably wanted, and you really are 100% sure that you're in love with this girl and she's perfect and she's the one and blah, blah, then I would say just tell her the truth. Just come out flat and say it. Hey, I like you a lot. I like you more than just friends. I would like to, maybe pursue something further along those lines, and go from there. If the situation is that you've met a girl at school and you want to start dating her, and what you want to say, you're just trying to figure out what you want to say to her, just be honest. That's the absolute best thing you can do. Be honest. Don't try and be someone different. Don't be weird or anything, or try and trick this girl with your smoothness into dating you, because that's just going to blow up in both y'all's faces. Trust me. So I would say just be honest. Tell her exactly how you feel, and use that for pretty much any situation. That just tell them how you feel honestly. That will help you out so much more than anything else that you'll ever hear from someone. Okay, question number 2 is, what are some ways to get through workouts when you are completely drained? This is a great question, and something that anyone who works out runs into all the time. It happens to all of us, no matter how much you love working out. At some point, you just get tired of doing it, or you're just tired. You've had a really long day at school, you've had a really long day at work, you didn't sleep well, blah, blah, whatever. The best thing, there's a lot of things you can do, and a lot of people who are in my profession, personal trainers and fitness like icons or whatever that you see on Instagram and everything, will say pre-workout. You can do that. I don't recommend it because it's just extra money that you're having to spend to work out, and I don't feel like they do anything. For some people, if you tell them that a pre-workout works, they're going to think it works. So I think that's mostly how pre-workout works. I had a friend that he took some, and then he was just like, "Oh man, like I don't even know what's going on." And I took the exact same thing, and I was like, "Tony, what are you talking about, man? I don't feel anything." So, and it does affect everyone a little different, but still, I would use some other techniques before you try pre-workout just to save you the money. The number one thing that I can tell you is to find your absolute favorite songs to work out with, the ones that get you pumped up and just ridiculously hyped beyond anything, and save those. Don't just use those all the time. Don't start with those if you feel good starting out. I would say save those for when you feel drained. If it's in the middle of your workout towards the end, or if it is the whole workout, if you're going into it and you're just tired, then as soon as you feel drained, turn those songs on. That's going to help so much more than anything else. I guarantee it. Music is one of the biggest helps when you're lifting or working out at all. Especially talk to people who run a lot. Most of them will probably tell you they couldn't do it without the music. So give that a shot. That's a really good one. I would also say that it is a good idea to just stop for a second. For maybe 10, 30 seconds, whatever. Take a break in the middle of your workout if you can. Get a drink of water, just kind of set for a second and think. Think about what you want. Think about why you're working out, what you're trying to accomplish. Maybe it's the body that you want, or maybe it's to be able to dunk, so you're working out to work towards that, or to get better at football, or whatever, to help your team. Whatever your goal is. Excuse me. Think about that. I mean, really focus on that only for those 10 to 30 seconds. And then think about what you're doing and how it's going to help you reach that goal. Think about how much easier it's going to be once you get to where you want to be. Think about how that workout you're doing is going to help you. And if you skipped that workout, how much further behind you would be. And that's kind of probably my best advice I can give you, is that's really going to help you the most in driving you. Other than that, there is nothing wrong with going through the motions when you're working out. It is absolutely 100% better than just stopping and not working out, or not going to the gym at all. Going through the motions is still working out. Is it the absolute best way to do it? No, but it's way better than doing nothing. So if you are in there and you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, I just don't feel it today, but you finish that workout, you should be incredibly pumped. You should tell yourself, you should be so proud of yourself that you finished that. That's awesome. All right, next question. And our last question today, excuse me, is question. I am an above average Call of Duty player. I have played on a few MLG teams, but none of them really stayed together. I'm the person that goes 28-9, and I need a way to take my game to the next level. Any tips you have would be great. That's another great question. I'm not going to sit here and do an advanced tip Call of Duty video where I tell you like how to jump shot and all that type of stuff. If you're going 28-9 in MLG games, then you're pretty freaking good already. Now, if that's pubs, that's still really good, so don't worry about that. It seems like your Call of Duty skills are pretty good, so we're not going to focus on that. What you have to do now to take your game to the next level is similar to what a college player going to the pros has to do. you pretty much got the fundamentals down. That doesn't mean ignore them. Still work on those. 100% still work on those, because that's what's going to keep you better than everyone else. But if your fundamentals are pretty good now, then you can start focusing on other things as well. And what I'm really going to tell you is, it's not going to be so much Call of Duty skills that you need to work on. You need to work on, you said that your teams didn't always stay together, and that's tough. There's not always a lot you can do there. But you can work on your leadership and keeping those teams together, or finding groups that will stay together. So work on that. Work on learning how to be a good, firm leader without being a douche, without running everyone off, which I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's part of it. So work on that. The other big thing that actually is sort of Call of Duty related is work on your communication. Not only inside the game, but also outside the game. Letting people know, hey, we need to practice now, and giving them plenty of time. Or letting people know, hey, you know, your role in the team is this. This is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to work. We need to stick to that role, and conveying that with some passion. But also in the game, your call-outs need to be absolutely perfect. So that's something you can work on even without players. You can be in a single-player match, turn your mic off, and just make call-outs 24/7. You can walk around in a private match on the maps you're going to be playing on and just make call-outs. And the other thing that I kind of tell people I like to do, if you have a set team that's going to work together and going to stay together, make your own call-outs. Don't use the standard uniform call-outs that everyone knows, because then right across the table, someone's going to know what you're talking about. Another thing that I like to say, and this is getting more into Call of Duty stuff, but cut the trash talk. It's really not going to get into a good player's head anyways, and it's just using up energy that you could use on something else. You could focus those few seconds of trash talk into a better call-out, or into getting your team together for something. But the stuff like that, that's mostly what I'm going to say for that, is just focus on making your team better, making the other players around you better. That is what's going to set you apart from the other guy that can go 28-9, because there's a lot of them. So really work on what you can do to help the rest of your team. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all for today. Send in your questions. I need a ton more. Send them in. I'll get them in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.